Did Star Trek already forget about the best gift it gave Worf's family? Star Trek gave a great gift to Worf and his family, but now it appears to have been all but forgotten. Worf and his son Alexander did not enjoy the best relationship, and it became even more fraught during the Day of Blood crossover event. Now, in Star Trek, Defiant #22, Worf guides Alexander on the road to restoring his honor, but the story forgets a key development in Alexander's life. Star Trek, Defiant #22 is written by Christopher Cantwell and drawn by Angel Unzueta. The story, the first part of the No Old Warriors arc, sees Alexander work to restore his lost honor by completing the QV ceremony. The ritual is intense, and his survival is not guaranteed. Worf is overseeing Alexander's progression in the QV ritual. Alexander is willing to do whatever it takes to restore his honor and get back in his father's good graces. While this may seem to be the beginning of a new path for Alexander, he actually embarked on a different one earlier. As mentioned before, Alexander played a pivotal role in Star Trek, Day of Blood. This crossover event, running between Star Trek and Star Trek, Defiant, saw Kallus II attempt to take control of the Klingon Empire. Kallus, who had already been slaughtering the gods of the universe, had a vast army of cultists ready to kill in his name, and Alexander was one of them. Kallus manipulated Alexander into fighting his father. Worf was able to make his son see the error of his ways, but Kallus intervened, killing Alexander. He was revived thanks to a Bajoran orb. Sons of Star Trek ended on a hopeful note for Alexander, as the Federation agreed to grant him clemency provided he served as a medic. This could have been it for Alexander, but fate had other ideas. In the 4-issue miniseries Sons of Star Trek, Q Jr. pulled Alexander, Nog, and Jake Sisko into an alternate reality in order to teach them a lesson. In this alternate universe, Alexander served in Starfleet in the medical division. Alexander was confused as to why he was a medic, but apparently Q Jr. saw something in him that he himself did not. Sons of Star Trek ended on a hopeful note for Alexander, as the Federation agreed to grant him clemency provided he served as a medic. Alexander straying into Kallus' grip was a long time coming, and Worf bears some of the blame. From the time he was a small child, Alexander has known loss. His mother died, and he would spend the next several years bouncing between homes, first with Worf's adopted family on Earth, and then with Worf himself on the Enterprise. Worf tried to do right by his son, but often fell short. Worf's parenting was so bad, in fact, that it has inspired countless dark humor memes in Star Trek fan circles. Alexander's new career in medicine was unexpected, but welcome, as it finally gave him a purpose. All of his life, Alexander struggled to fit in. A child of two worlds, Alexander has been torn between his human and Klingon sides, and this conflict was partially to blame for leading him to Kallus' Red Path. Alexander's time in the alternate universe with Jake and Nog showed him there was a better way, and while he will have to work to atone for his crimes, there is now a possibility of redemption and growth. Yet Star Trek, Defiant #22 makes no mention of Alexander's new career, and this is a shame. Alexander has been done dirty in the Star Trek universe, both in universe and out. Between a largely absent father and a growing sense of isolation from both strands of his heritage, Alexander has known suffering. Practicing medicine gives Alexander a calling, one that will set him apart from his father and other Klingons. While it is possible to square Sons of Star Trek with the events of Defiant #22, not mentioning Alexander's awesome character development feels like a slight. In a galaxy where starships soar at warp speed and diplomacy is as important as phasers, few characters have captured the spirit of inner conflict like Lieutenant Commander Worf. A Klingon raised by humans, Worf always stood between two worlds, his fierce heritage and his Starfleet oath. Over the years, Star Trek gave Worf a journey rich in struggle, honor, and growth. But amid the epic battles and cultural clashes, the franchise once gave him something rare and beautiful, a gift for his family that seems to have been quietly swept under the proverbial transporter pad. That gift? Kurn's redemption. In Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Worf's brother, Kurn, is a tragic figure. After Worf opposes the Klingon Empire during the Dominion War, the family loses its honor. Kurn, stripped of his status, spirals into despair. In Sons of Mo, Worf, unable to restore Kern's name, makes the controversial choice to erase his brother's memory and give him a new identity, Rodic. Adopted into another Klingon family, Rodic is reborn with no recollection of his former disgrace. It was an agonizing choice. Worf chose to give his brother a second life rather than let him suffer in shame. And while some fans still debate the ethics of it, there's no denying it was a profound, if somber, act of love. But here's the thing, Star Trek hasn't followed up on Rodic at all. For a franchise that thrives on legacy and interconnected threads across time, this feels like a missed opportunity. Rodic, the new Kern, is a character teeming with potential. Imagine a Klingon warrior navigating life with no knowledge of his true origin, while unknowingly walking in the footsteps of one of the Empire's most controversial families. What if fragments of his past began to resurface? What if he crossed paths with Worf again and felt that inexplicable pull of brotherhood? Even within Klingon society, themes of honor, legacy, and memory are paramount. The existence of Rodic, living proof of Worf's sacrifice, deserves exploration. Especially now, when Star Trek has fully embraced serialized storytelling and emotional continuity in shows like Picard, Strange New Worlds, and Discovery. These series have gone back to tug on threads left dangling decades ago. Why not pick up the thread of Kern? The irony is that Rodic has appeared post-DS9, but only in expanded media, specifically in Star Trek Online. There, Rodic serves as a commanding officer and even learns the truth about his past. While that arc is rich and rewarding, it's non-canon to the shows. So, on screen, Worf's greatest personal sacrifice remains largely unacknowledged. What makes this absence even more striking is Worf's recent resurgence in Star Trek, Picard Season 3. Older, wiser, still deadly with a blade, Worf is back, and fans have embraced every minute of it. We see him mentor, grieve, fight, and crack the occasional dry joke. His arc is full of callbacks to Yagia, to Alexander, to his complex Starfleet Klingon identity. And yet, Rodic is nowhere to be found. It feels like Star Trek gave Worf this powerful, deeply personal story, and then forgot it ever happened. And maybe it's understandable. With so many characters, planets, and timelines, some threads are bound to get lost. But Rodic isn't just a lost thread. He's the culmination of one of Worf's most heartbreaking dilemmas. The price of honor, the cost of family, and the blurred line between sacrifice and betrayal, all of it wrapped up in the face of a brother who no longer remembers. Bringing Rodic back wouldn't just be fan service. It would enrich Worf's current journey. What does legacy mean when the past has been rewritten? Can familial love transcend memory? Would Rodic ever want to reclaim his old identity? These are questions Star Trek is more than equipped to explore. In a universe that spans centuries, sectors, and alternate dimensions, Rodic is out there. Maybe he's commanding a bird of prey near the Klingon border. Maybe he's haunted by dreams of a brother he never knew. Or maybe he's found peace, his path diverged so far from Kern's that Worf dares not disrupt it. But wouldn't it be something if they crossed paths again? Worf has always embodied the tension between past and future, tradition and progress. Rekindling the story of Rodic could offer closure or spark a whole new chapter. After all, in Star Trek, no story is ever truly over. It just awaits the next stardate. Let's hope the franchise remembers the gift it gave Worf's family and finds the courage to open it once more. Let me know if you'd like this adapted into a blog post, video script, or podcast format. Progress. Rekindling the story of Rodic could offer closure or spark a whole new chapter. After all, in Star Trek, no story is ever truly over. It just awaits the next stardate. Let's hope the franchise remembers the gift it gave Worf's family and finds the courage to open it once more. Let me know if you'd like this adapted into a blog post, video script, or podcast format.